Oh, welcome to another episode of Psoto Desperado Plays Star Wars The Old Republic, a game in which I am a founder. I went through Narshada, and I'm basically on Balmora. Those of you who are familiar with the development, that's what I'm on right now. And I'm going to play videos in the background, like I normally do. We got Jack Morgan, Red Leather Podcast. The cost of living is next level now.
We sound good.
It's about to get more expensive to try and get rich. The price of a Mega Millions ticket is going up. Beginning in April, the cost for a Mega Millions ticket will go up to $5. Right now, it costs $2.
I have never seen the...
All right, buckle up. The cost of living continues, the gift that keeps on giving. And it's hitting in some weird places, dude. You can't even afford to gamble anymore. It's classic. Before we get this party really started, speaking of things that went up, I like old leather jackets. I recently bought this black one, but it's a little too small for me. So, dude, it's sick. It's fucking made in England. It's an old one. This thing is nice. So if you're about, I'm 5'11", $160. We're gonna get to the party here in a minute. 5'11", $160. It's a little too small for me. So if you're like around 5'8", 5'9", 140 pounds, and you want that slick Ricky Aioli look, hit me up on Instagram. I'll send it to you. I can't send it back because it's vintage and I bought it on eBay for $200. Anyways, it's all yours. Hit me up on Insta. I'll send it to you. Hey, someone's got to look good. Anyways, back to this lady. Millennials versus the boomers. The destruction lust. That's weird.
The war that I am seeing between the boomer generation and the millennial generation. Never before seen this. The amount of hatred between these two generations is unbelievable.
I didn't know it was that bad.
It's really bad. So all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute, I trusted you and you misled me. And now I can never get what you got. There's no hope for the future. And now you won't step out of the position that you're in, where I'm convinced you're making decisions that harmed me. There's a destruction lust.
It's a lot harder to afford what the boomers were able to afford when they were our age, right? A house.
You're using the word harder. Most people perceive it to be impossible. That they will never in their lifetime be able to achieve any of those simple things.
Not for nothing. These haircuts are what? A mandatory $40. I just paid $40 to what? Slightly bald in fashion?
Speaking of the simple things, can't afford a haircut anymore. Forget about the lottery. It's classic.
When I was growing up, it was $20, right? $15 haircut, $5 tip. The 20 went a long way. Now...
And here we go.
Oh, this is the best, dude. The Black Friday. Black Friday is not even... Inflation's gone up so much. Black Friday, they have to pretend. This is great right here.
Oh, I hope you're hungry.
$4.29.
For nothing. For nothing. For nothing. For nothing. For nothing.
No.
For nothing. For nothing. For nothing. For nothing.
All right, but think
all the prices were just the same. It just said deal. Oh yeah, I don't know if I said this, but I'm gonna send this to you guys. Whoever wants this for free. I don't need money for it. But thank you to everybody who did buy a shirt. RLP Classic. Link in the bio. Anyways, we're gonna go through some weird stuff here, and then we're gonna dig a little bit deeper. But it's hitting everywhere, even the odd places.
about it. Right now, if you go to a concert, an NFL game, an NBA game, that shit is a luxury event nowadays. It's not what it used to be like when we were young, when you would pay $50 and enjoy a football game, a basketball game, or a concert. Now the thing is, they've turned performances, live shows, venues, all these things into like a flex.
I may get canceled for...
He's not tripping. I recently went to a hockey game in South Florida, so you kind of do the math. Really not like the most popular thing in the world. Mighty Ducks, Gordon Bombay. But me and my chick, we went. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Actually, I do. It was like, all said and done, $250. I know that's for two people, but I don't even drink. I had a lemonade. The best $14 lemonade I ever had in my life. But dude, that's just a basic ass hockey game. Imagine, replace that with Miami Heat. Or football, forget it. Anyway, stop complaining about inflation. No, it's fun.
Saying this, and I promise I'm not trying to be mean when I say it, but the reason why you're poor is not because of inflation. Inflation has been going on since the end of time. Sometimes we have a better economy, sometimes we don't. This is nothing new. And when inflation hits, you have two options. You can either cut down on your expenses, or two, you can work to improve your skill set so you could be more valuable in the marketplace to make more money so that you don't feel it.
And what does she mean, increase your skill set? All I hear is get creative. This is the best thing I've ever seen. This guy right here, he's like, I'm going to make it no matter what. This is the best thing I've ever seen.
I ain't never seen a nigga do it like this. This nigga grilling on top of the truck.
Dude, he's literally grilling in the back of the truck, just handing out burgers, hot dogs, I mean, whatever it is he's dealing out. But this is, you got to give it to him, dude. Like, I knew this dude, he did a little hot dog stand right next to this bar I used to go to like 15 years ago. That dude was still there 15 years later. And he used to have just like a little stand. Then all of a sudden he's got like people working for him and shit. He's got another one down the way. In Cali, this is a big thing. I'm in Florida right now, but in California, dude, these little hot dog vendor guys, basically the same thing, right? This guy's just got like a shitty truck, which is fine. Look at him, dude, he's doing it. He's probably doing great, depending where he's at. Like, you pull up in a downtown area, fuck a permit, dude. No one can afford permits anymore. I'm not, like, saying go do this, but this hot dog guy out in Cali, I forget his name, I almost did it. He made like $600 to $1,000 a night, depending on how busy things were. Just flipping hot dogs, little bacon dogs, little peppers. If you ever had a Cali street dog, it's like really not good for you, but they taste awesome, and people will pay money for them, especially when they're drunk. Oh, criminal business model. Anyways, you got to commend this guy. Okay, it's not inflation, guys. It's you. Get a pickup truck, sell hot dogs. Okay, learn the ropes. Jeez, teach yourself something valuable. Speaking of the haircuts, though, like last time I got a haircut, it was $45. I went to like a salon. It was like a year ago. I was so upset. Ruined my hair. But for the past, I don't know, almost 20 years, I've been cutting my own hair. It doesn't always look the best, but, you know, I'm glad I learned a really good skill. Anyways, just say it about the haircut stuff, because I don't do any of that stuff. I feel bad for women. My chick just went and got a facial. $400. I was like, what? Her face was shiny, though. Anyways, speaking of, like, you know, having to have a second job or sell food out of the back of a truck or, you know, do odd gigs, this dude goes, I've come to the conclusion that the sole purpose of homework is to condition children into accepting that unpaid overtime and ridiculous hours and not even being able to escape work, even in your own home, are a normal thing to expect in the future. Yeah, it really is. Like, my whole life I've had 2 jobs, basically. Now I just have 1 job. Some people are fortunate enough to have 1 job. Like this guy. He is skipping around town. He's just working for UPS. It's not all bad. Like, there's money in weird spots. Like, who would have ever thought dropping off boxes every day, wearing a brown t-shirt, you could make $2,000 a week, $100,000 a year? Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Selling hot dogs, you could make $1,200 a week working 2 nights a week. I never would have guessed. Okay? So there is still opportunity out here. It's just in odd spots, man. And it's up to you to work from home and work your regular job. I mean, it's just kind of what it is. I mean, before this was full-time with the YouTube stuff, you know, I worked every day, just like everyone else. Worked every day. And then I'd get home, and then I'd work some more. You know, even when this was like full-time money, I still kept my job waiting tables at 33. I'm 35 now, but like 33 years old. I'm out there going, how's your Chardonnay? You know what I mean? Another Cabernet, ma'am? Like, come on. You want the Chilean sea bass or not, bitch? Hurry this up. Speaking of being a server, though, 20 years ago, working as a server, I lived in a corner 1-bedroom apartment downtown with amazing water views for $700 a month. A similar apartment now is $3,600 a month. That's 5 times more. As a lawyer at age 47, I am unable to afford living in the same apartment I did at 27 while waiting tables. Loser. Did you guys like the bread? That's good, 'cause that's all you're getting. Yeah, a lot of people think lawyers just make all this money out the gate. They don't. I think they start off at like 60, 70 grand a year. Like, you really got to earn your stripes with that. 8 years of college ain't enough. It is trippy to think about, though. Like, even waiting tables and bartending now still pays good, considering, like, a lot of these other jobs. It's kind of nuts. I'm not saying it's much better. I know. Anyways, whatever. This guy goes, the economy is so bad you can't even live in your car anymore. I'm not buying that one. That's bullshit. I lived in my car. I saved a tremendous amount of money. Yeah. Now, if you're just living in your car with no job, I log like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was curious about this, though. Like, what's the median income for people? We'll get down to brass tacks, but I looked it up, and the median average person, I'm not going to go through every state here. There's every state in the book, but the highest one was 80 grand, but the normal's around that 60 grand, 50 to 60 grand mark is what your typical regular Joe is making, okay? Which should be good. Like, to me, for the longest time, as long as I made $1,000 a week, I'm skipping around. I'm good. But now it seems like that's not even enough. But then how many people don't make that? You know what I mean? How many people out there are like, I wish I made $1,000 a week? That's kind of the trippy part. But here's something, because I'm the same age as this dude, and he's breaking down his bills, and this is it's kind of mind-blowing, actually.
Being so high, millennials get a lot of crap for overspending. So I figured, being a millennial, 35, and my wife being 35, I wanted to go over what our bills are, and you can let me know if we're overspending or if we're kind of right in the pocket. So my wife and I have no kids. We are homeowners here in Orlando, Florida, and here are our monthly bills. So the most expensive is our house. So it's $3,300 a month. That includes the principal, interest, property taxes, electricity, internet, everything house, $3,300. Next on the list is going to be kind of surprising to some.
Yeah, my house with everything included, 3-bedroom. I'm in a townhome, but mine's only $2,000. That's everything. Granted, 4 years ago, that number used to be more like $1,300. Insurance, property taxes, HOA, no big deal.
But we spend $1,200 a month on groceries. And I broke this down in another video. We spend about $90 every 3 days. And then we also would get paper towels, dog food, soaps, things like that throughout the month. And
that's standard. Me and my chick spend that easy. If you think about it, $600 per person. So that's standard for me.
Equals about $1,200. Next, we lease 2 cars. They're both new Volkswagens, 2023, and the total payment for both of them combined is $850 a month, which I don't think is too shabby. I think we got a great deal. We've next on the list is...
Yeah, I don't have a car payment. I'll just own it, yeah.
Is $574, which is the accumulation of debt payments. And then $350, I guess we put as personal care. My wife's hair, eyebrows, my haircut, nails, things like that. It's about $350.
His haircut is just the $50. The rest is the chick. You know how I know this? Because I don't get any grooming done ever. I do it all myself. I can clip my own nails. You know what I mean? Like I could wash my own ass and trim my pubes. You know what I mean? I always thought that'd be so funny. Like the shoe shine guys, if it was like that, but for like basically, I guess your cock, I guess your pubes. Anyways, I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, basically 300 of that is definitely the woman, for sure. My chick's in the kitchen right now.
Next on the list is $200 for car insurance for both the cars. Also $200 is our Maltese Shih Tzu. He's 15 years old.
Yeah, I got animals too. My insurance for the year, I have 2 cars for the entire year, $1,700 for 2 cars. But also, I basically don't have any coverage. Only the person, if I ever hit somebody, they're covered. But, I'm shit out of luck. And dogs are expensive, dude. We got a dog, cats too. But yeah, our animals, we got 2 animals, but they cost like $200 a month just for the 2 of them combined. So, yeah, even owning an animal, unreal.
We give him medicine, and he also gets groomed, and that's $200 a month. Our cell phones combined are $173. Our gas is $150 a month, and then our internet services are $80. So that's Netflix, Zoom, Dropbox, and a couple other things is $80. So
yeah, the rest of that's all pretty standard, basic.
That totals about $7,100 a month to maintain this lifestyle. However, That doesn't include date nights, savings, investing, dues that we owe, or accountant, or gifts, or weddings, or anything like that. So technically it's about $8,000 that we need, and then everything over that we put into savings and investing. But our house is also 1,700 square feet, 3-bed, 2-bath, nothing fancy. Again, we drive BWs, not Lexus or BMWs or anything like that. So what do you all think? Does that seem like in the pocket, overspending, underspending? What's your take?
It's pretty, I mean, you know what I guess if you divide that in half, it's like $3,000 a person, $4,000 a person. Not too bad, but I mean, still, it's pretty up there. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even have a kid, you know? But you know what he didn't include? Health insurance. Yeah, tack that on, why don't you? Today's video is sponsored by my friend Ishmael here. If you're looking for health insurance, maybe he can cut you a deal. Ishmael, my boy.
Jack, I wanted to thank your viewers for hitting me up from my last video about health insurance. One in particular, their family was paying $2,400 a month on their health insurance, and they had a high deductible HMO network. I got them a plan with a PPO with a 0 deductible, $9,000 max out of pocket, and they're paying $1,700 a month, all because they weren't qualified for the right plans. So anyone else watching this, I save my clients at least 20% on what their premiums are and get you equally good coverage to what you have, or even better. Give me a call, do a free consult, and I'll see if I can help you out.
Jesus, $2,400. He does regular, just individuals too. Just like if your policy they want $400, you know, maybe give him a shout and maybe he can get it down and figure out like some loopholes. Super cool guy, like he gets it. Right? He cuts his own hair. You see what I'm saying? He shaves his own ass. Like he gets it. He's cutting corners. He's doing what he's got to do out here. Anyways, but aside from like that dude's bills are pretty high. I mean, that's kind of standard. Our bills aren't as high as that guy. Like we own our cars. I don't even have health insurance. To be honest, I tried getting some. They want too much money. I make too much money, and I'm just like, fuck it, I don't have it. All right. And you might think I'm crazy. I get a lot of people like, oh, you need it. Well, guess what? I listen to you guys, and that's why I got Ishmael here, so that all of you guys yelling at me, if you need it, get some help. He tried helping me out. I'm stubborn. I'm not willing to pay $600 a month. I'm just not doing it. But for people who really need it, you know, do what you got to do. Speaking of doing what you got to do, this is like another one, aside from living in your car. It's just moving home, saying fuck it. But listen to this girl, because we're going to really break it down after she talks here about, like, if you're a solo person.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, just move home. Just moved back home. I'm 29 years old. I just moved from living in the city by myself, Chicago, to the suburbs, in my parents' house. And my parents don't have a huge, big, fancy house. You know, we're not rich or anything like that. But to have the opportunity to live at home and not be so stressed out all the time about paying $2,000 a month in rent, it's priceless. It's priceless. Do you guys know how much money I have now?
No.
How many things I can do? Okay, I could go get Botox anytime I want. I could buy a house in 2 years if I wanted.
Okay, so let's break this down. Remember the dude with $7,100 a month with him and his wife? Split that in half. All right, she's by herself. Let's say you're by yourself. All right, I'm going to be real nice about this whole situation. She's like, I'm going to buy a house. Okay, but $2,000 a month was... I'm sorry, but good luck finding a mortgage for $2,000 a month with a decent place. Like, just good luck. Like, good luck. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just wishing you all the best. So, let's do some basic math here. Okay, so, like, let's just be nice about it. She said hers was $2,000 a month. Let's just be super nice about the situation. You live by yourself. Let's just say $1,500, okay? I'm going to include everything in that. I'm going to be real nice, all right? Okay? Plus your phone bill, I'm just going to call it $100. All right? I'm going to be real generous with you and say you don't have a car payment. Your insurance is $250 a month. Okay. Now I'm going to be really extra cool about this one. You only spend $500 a month on food. Okay? All right? Now, that's $2,300 a month. All right? Oh, so $2,300 times 12. Okay, that's $27,000 a year. I'm going to be super cool and just say that's your bills. All right? Now, we all know the truth. That's not your bills. My point is, though, is like that's me being really nice. We're at $27,000 for the year. With no fun, nothing. No Botox, nothing. So anyways, I recommend exactly what she just said. Move home. I mean, I would do it if my parents were still alive.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
Now, here's something I'm going to agree with, because I'm like a really firm on a man with no bills is a rich man. Okay? I'm all about making a lot of money. Get the money. Run it up. But I'm not living extra. This jacket was $40 at an antique shop. Should have been more like $150, $200. They were going out of business. But just from a reseller's point of view, I bought this to flip it. I'm just saying that what this guy says here is kind of how I'm moving forward, and how a lot of other people are moving forward from what I'm looking at. Not everybody, but this is kind of the way that I see the world here.
That more money doesn't always equal more happiness. It's almost as if I've traded all my spare time and all my fun times for the extra dollar. I don't know if I'm the only one feeling this way, but this is the most money I've ever made. And this is the most stressed I've ever felt. I had more time for my family, my friends, hell, even my hobbies. I can't tell you the last time I went fishing or camping. I mean, when I lived in a smaller house, had a smaller truck, I felt like that's how life should have felt for me. I never had to wake up just dog tired, not looking forward to the day, just so I can provide more material things for my family. I don't know. It's just my feeling. Let me know what you think.
Basically, I'm not saying I want to work myself to the bone. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I don't ever want to put myself to the position that that's how I feel about life. And I feel like a lot of us get there by accident. You know, you heard that chick, she moved home to alleviate the stress. And hers was only $2,000 a month for rent. You know what I mean? For me, my total bills a month, just for myself, you know, it's $2,000 a month. Yeah, I have a mortgage plus all my stuff. But, you know, and I'm not splitting this. You know, my girl lives with me. We work together. But I basically cover. I'm Big Daddy around here. I cover all that shit. I chose this life. Okay? But at the same time, if we were to level up, if I were to up my bills another $2,000 a month, I'd be pissed. I'm trying to do the opposite of that. You get what I mean? I'm trying to have no fucking bills. And I don't think I'll ever get there, but I'm going to try. Anyways, we're going to end on a positive note here. Okay, this video here, I'll leave this link below. But this dude, he was a street performer. And he also did YouTube full time with Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And it just wasn't good enough for his wife. But the moral of this story is doing the 2 odd jobs, he actually worked half the time and made more money than he did working a regular 9-to-5. And he literally got a divorce because he was like, he gave up working 2 odd jobs because his wife wanted a traditional life. And you know, men, the things we do for ass, Lord knows it. God help me. But the point is he was making more than enough money. But it wasn't in a traditional sense. And then he left all that to work a traditional job, and he's not making enough. And now he was like, you know what? And he's getting a divorce over it. And he's going to go back. He's like, I'm going back to what I was doing. Because at least he was happy. Does that make any sense? And you know what? Not everything's going to be perfect all the time. Okay? It's just not. Alright? We're going to end here with Jim Ron. Alright? Take this home with you. This is life.
There are times when you just lose, no matter what you do. It's that kind of planet. You reap what you sow, yes, but... What does that mean, yes, but? Well, the farmer plants his crop in the spring, takes care of it all summer, loves his family, works 10, 12 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week, is an honorable man. Come fall, he's got a beautiful crop, and he deserves every bit of it. But the day before he sends the combines into the field, a hailstorm comes along and beats it all in the ground, which means you lose.
Loser.
Somebody says, well, what did he do wrong? Answer, nothing. It's just that kind of planet. Sometimes it's going to hail on your crop and rain on your parade. So you got to get ready for that, or you will be naive.
I guess that's just a metaphor for life. Anyways, hell of a talk. You guys leave your thoughts. Appreciate everybody that copped a shirt. Leave the link below. Don't forget, anybody wants his leather jacket, just hit me up on Insta. It's free. I'm going to send it to you. Boom. Zip it over. God, solid talk. Really good stuff. But he's right. Sometimes it's just life just happens. Doesn't matter how well you're doing. Anyways, don't forget, if you need health insurance, Lord knows you need it. Good talk.
Been waiting for this shit to breathe.
In amagas kapana morban giminam arpai bohav nona. Afra Liban. All right. If I can get out of here. And this other person's right behind me here. Baru Jamunja.
Please use all products only as intended. Be well.
Forgot I ran out of the XP boost. There we go. Alright, pretty much out of here. See, it's nice when somebody else shows up with the same kind of missions to help you do it, you know. Alright. Go team go. Jack Morgan. See if Jack's got another video here. I've seen some of these. What's this? The loneliest generation ever.
So apparently there's a growing trend right now where there is a significantly higher percentage of individuals that report having no close friends compared to previous generations. Classic. So we've got the loneliest generation and down all around. We're going to get deep here. I'm also kind of talking about everybody being single, you know? Like I'm 35 with no kids, and that's just totally normal. Anyways, this guy kind of lays it on the line for us.
I think we're headed toward a very lonely society. I think we're headed toward, I mean, you look at the numbers and stuff. People aren't getting married. People aren't having kids. This is serious stuff. Like, people are not getting married. They're not having kids. They're not having friends. They're not having community. They're not having human connection.
Definitely not having sex. This is statistically proven.
Like, people are not wanting to have human connection anymore. Like, that's going out the window. And I think because human consciousness has, like, 2/3 of men...
He just started saying, like, human consciousness in the government. He started going, we'll go back to him. He goes a little off the rails, a little into the danger zone. But one, like this one right here, why 2/3 of young men are single? This is Legion of Men. I really like him. I'll leave all the YouTube channels down below. But when I'm bringing up the single stuff is because now that I'm older here, or anybody my age or above, you could probably attest to this. Basically, I spend all my time with my girlfriend, my lady. You know what I mean? Like, I rarely see my friends. Not that I don't have any, and I don't want to say necessarily I feel lonely, but if I didn't have her, good luck. I need like 5 dogs.
Under 30 are single, and again, people lie about these numbers.
2/3.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't know that stat. 2/3 of men 18 to 30 are single, and I think the numbers are really higher because most people, when they say they're in a relationship, they're in a situationship, and or maybe not most, but a very large amount. And I don't count situationships as relationships, and
like, not to have some crying chick here, but this is like to paint you a perspective that it's not just men, all right? It's women too. This chick, I'm 37, have 0 friends outside of my coworkers, go absolutely nowhere unless it's work or the supermarket, struggle with depression, and I'm constantly trying to become a better human. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say you can change, but as you could tell, it's like, I feel like it's going to get worse. I don't wish this on anybody. I'm part of the thing here, okay? I'm a part of the never seeing anybody bracket society generation. I'm in the game. No, I don't like it.
The almost singular piece of advice I've been giving my son since he's graduated high school is, I don't care about any other part of what you decide to do with your life. Find a woman that shares your values and team up with her.
That's very Italian.
It's very Papa Italiano. Now, this is something I hear a lot. You know, I do this for a living. I see a lot of this stuff where it's like, you know, like being a loner is good. Like, be an eagle. You know, eagles don't have friends. But this is kind of the rhetoric you hear, but it almost doesn't make any sense. I'll explain.
You look at the most
eagles don't have
powerful or iconic animals in nature, you start to understand that being alone is power. How? Eagles fly alone. It's only little pigeons and smaller little birds that like to flock together.
Okay, just in case I get copyright for that music, basically he was saying eagles fly alone, and it's really only the smaller birds that flock together. Okay, well, I guess everybody's a fucking eagle nowadays, just just flying around. I was curious. I was like, do eagles mate? All right. And according to Google, they go, yes, eagles mate. They typically mate for life. Okay, they keep going on about eagles. We're not going to do a whole history lesson on eagles here. But it looks like we got a lot of eagles out here that ain't doing that even. So that was kind of my point, where like people use these analogies, and I'm like, yeah, well, at least they still have sex and can find a partner and maybe have a kid or two to share the experience with. Unreal. Birds aside, we're going to cut in here for a quick commercial break. Today's video is sponsored by my friend Ishmael here. Okay, health insurance is a bit out of control nowadays, but maybe he could help you save a buck or two if you need some coverage. Anyways, Ishmael?
Yeah, thanks, Jack. So a lot of people are looking for health insurance right now. It's open enrollment, tons of options out there. Everybody's obviously feeling like they're overpaying for coverage that isn't good. What I do is I work with all major carriers, Aetna, Blue Cross, Cigna, and United. I help small businesses, families, and individuals find their best health insurance options based on what they qualify for. We work with their public and private options, which I'll discuss on a consultation call if anybody wants to schedule. But typically, I get clients PPO plans that cover you nationwide, 0 to low deductibles, and I'm saving clients on average 20% on their insurance. So give me a call. Let me see if I'll help you out. It's a free consult. Let's get it.
Yeah, so anyways, you need coverage, give him a shout. I'll leave his information below. Or if you're just feeling lonely and you need somebody to chop it up with, he's a good cat, good guy. Anyways, back to the eagles and the birds mating thing.
You have mating issue, you have rent issue.
What's the heart of the mating issue? Very briefly, because Chris Williamson spends a lot of time on this kind of stuff.
Yes. So the shortest answer I could give is I would say it's heavily an economics issue due to the structure of dating apps, where dating apps, and I'm friends with a lot of like dating content creators. This is something Homath has also said. That
Homath. Speaking of the mating issue, I wanted to thank everybody that's bought shirts recently, the RLP Classic. But, this is just hearsay, but apparently a lot of the dudes that bought a shirt recently, a lot more sex. Just throwing that out there. It's just what I heard in the reviews. Nothing just ironclad. Just throwing it out there. I appreciate everybody that bought a shirt.
That dating apps are the thing that killed it. Where you look at the chart of male virginity, it jumped from 8% when the iPhone was invented, and then it immediately went up to 27% over
when I meet a guy.
Okay, so remember the eagles and the mating, and then the no friends thing, but then it's good to have no friends because eagles soar alone. All right, this is going somewhere. And we're talking about relationships because typically that's usually when you get older, that's who you spend most of the time with. Okay, I'm glad we got that out of the way. Anyways, here's what women think about guys who fly alone like big birds.
And slowly I'm finding out that they have no friends. That's like so concerning for me. I want a guy that has a great group of friends, has tight-knit people. You don't have to have family, but you got to have chosen family. There have got to be people that back you and support you, because if not, then what is wrong with you? If you don't have people in your life, that's very concerning to me. When I see that a guy doesn't have friends, or like even like on Hinge photos or in Instagram photos, like I want to see your people. I want to see who you hang out with. That to me is attractive, who you surround yourself with, and knowing that there's people that love you and you do fun things with them. You have a life outside of dating me.
You're not just flying around town solo. Now, I personally never used a dating app. I usually let women just pick me. I've never been good at just going up to a chick and being like, so, it's just, maybe I pulled that off once or twice in my life, but generally they pick me. And if you were to like look at my dating app or like my Instagram, it would almost look like I really don't even have any friends. But really I do. I'm just bad at taking pictures in the moment. What am I supposed to do? Like hit up my boys and be like, yo, I'm cooking up my Hinge profile right now. You think we can get a couple of... But anyways, this guy right here, single for 9 years. Not looking too good. But this is like the new standard.
There's people that are committed to being single forever. It's crazy. I was talking to some dude at work. He's been single for 9 years. For 9 years. And he hasn't been with a woman in that way in almost 7. Dude, that's crazy. How are you doing that? How is anybody doing that?
He flies alone, bro. He's like, how is anybody doing that? I don't think it's that anyone wants to do that. But, like, let's be honest here. If it's like I can't even get a friend, bro. Yet alone somebody to have sex with. You know, I'm out here just soaring through the town. But this is kind of like the chick you just saw before, and then even this chick right here. It's kind of like, it's a headache. You know, like if my current girlfriend didn't just, you know, it wasn't like so into me, you know, I wouldn't even pursue it. You know, I've gone like a year or so without just no sex. But I'm like, I'm not out here looking for it. It's too much of a headache. So I do understand why a lot of cats are single. And, you know, let's be real. Motherfuckers is picky out here. Like, men, we'll dust a bitch off. You know, homeless chick. Be like, oh, she looks pretty good. And clean her up a little bit. You know, get her out of the sewer there. Like, put her some clothes on her. You know, we're not so picky. Anyways.
No, but I just turned 35, and tell me why all the most amazing, attractive, beautiful, loving women that I know are all single right now. And I just saw...
Because they're too picky. That's just a guess. That's just my opinion. I don't know these people.
A statistic that said by 2030, 45% of women are going to be single. And they didn't say men, too. They said women because they're trying to highlight the fact that we're, like, taking our power back and we're setting boundaries and we're not accepting this behavior anymore. And I love this for us. I am so here for it. So if the Divine Feminine Collective is, like, setting all these boundaries and then we're all just going to hang out with our best friends all day and we're going to eat sweet treats and go on dinners and get all this love and support and happiness from our friends, we're going to be great. We're going to do okay.
That's probably not realistic. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I just am not good at... I still see my friends. I don't want to say that. It's just not as often. But I don't think that's how it's going to really work out. I could be tripping. I wish her all the best. I'm not trying to be negative here. I'm just saying, like...
But for them...
She's still going.
For the guys...
For guys?
Do they not realize that they need us? Because...
Back to this chick. I'm 37, have 0 friends. Go absolutely nowhere, except for the supermarket. Like, unfortunately, this is kind of... It's not just men. It's women, too. And I think it's great for society, honestly. Like I'm not going to have toxic people in my life. That's what you hear all the time, you know. It's like, maybe you're the toxic person, Rebecca. Anyways, back to this guy.
A third of men under 30 are virgins. Again, I assume that's an undercount. And so this is a huge issue. And
so this is the incel revolution, which is one.
Exactly. Yeah.
The incel revolution. That's tremendous. But here's the thing, though, right? This one's like POV. You have no friends, so you go to the movie alone. You go to the movies alone. That's kind of like... I don't want to say it's a bad thing, though. I'm not saying like being alone is terrible. I just think it's kind of funny that it's when it gets to a point where it's like, how long can you be alone for? And then with stuff like this, how you're watching this probably on your phone, or maybe you're watching on the TV. But like I do this too, and sometimes it's almost like when I'm driving, I'll have like a podcast or something on, so I feel like somebody's with me. Does that make sense? Right? Or like when I'm whacking off alone at night, it feels as if a lady is there. No, I'm just kidding. But here's some more data showing the decline. Potential causes. Digital dependence, like we were just saying. Over-reliance on social media for social interaction can sometimes replace meaningful in-person connections. Yeah, like I said, you're snuggled up with it at night, your best friend, you know. Work demands. This is a big one. Busy work schedules with long hours can limit time available for socializing. Got to get the money, you know, to pay somebody else with. Even with this right now, like I'm like, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just not gonna edit anymore. I'm just gonna go straight through, no more editing. I'm done. I'm just gonna film all the time. I'm not gonna edit shit. I'm just gonna put it out there. Okay? Viewership's down. Who cares? All right. I want more time to be alone by myself. But seriously though, like work demands is a big one. Geographic mobility. Frequent moves can make it harder to maintain long-term relationships. Yeah, that's another one. I've been thinking about moving recently, maybe going like, I'm in Florida, move to like Tennessee or something like that. But I'm like, who do we know there? You know, or we're like, we're going to move to Spain. It's like, I don't speak Spanish. Me llamo Yak. Pandemic impact. All right, we're just reaching here. But, yeah, I'm going to go with the first three.
All right, you know, and...
All right, back to this, dude. People don't have friends anymore. By Truth Tiger.
I heard back in the day people used to be friendly. People used to know their neighbors and stuff. Like, I don't know my neighbors, you know. I mean,
He goes, I heard back in the day people used to know their neighbors. You know what's crazy? I lived in this small circular neighborhood, right, called Joggers Run. And just so happened to have, like, kids everywhere that were around my age. And then my parents were friends with all the neighbors, were friends with all the kids. We'd have them over for dinner. We'd have, like, barbecues and shit. Like, going on family neighbor vacations. So yeah, he's not tripping. That used to be a real thing. I'm actually friendly with my neighbors here. Got my neighbors Adrian and Bridget. We got the other cats. These people just moved, but Gus used to come over all the time. But that was like, you know, kind of years of like, you know, having to have small chit chat before that happened. But for the most part, like, I don't have dinner with my neighbors. Like, actually, we've moved our relationship up. I got my neighbors here. They watch my cat now when I go out of town. So we're slowly creeping in 5 years later. But yeah, for the most part, that's not really a thing anymore.
I know a few of them, I guess, but by and large, I don't know my neighbors, you know, and I don't know, if we could all just be friendly and you could just talk to people and you could walk, I mean, I talk to some random people sometimes, but it's pretty rare, you know, but if we could all just hang out and talk to each other and be friendly, you know, you got a dog, let me pet your dog, and, you know, that would just be so nice. That'd be heaven on earth, but this whole thing...
You know what I was just thinking? Like, I had a joke back in the day where it's like, you know, when you go to pet somebody's dog, it's almost like you greet the dog before the person. You notice that? It's like, oh my God, the dog's so cute. Yeah, how you doing? Oh my God, look at him. It's something I noticed at one point in my life. I don't do that, but I caught myself doing that one time. Anyways.
Well, people are so closed off and distrustful, and, like, I get it. Like, people, I mean, on the aggregate, like, people are evil, and you got to be careful, you know? You don't want evil people to come in your life. I get it, you know? I feel the same way, but just this whole overarching, overly defensive, weird kind of attitude people have, like, we have to come out of that, because how long are we going to last like this, you know? Like, how long is this going to be able to stand up for? You know?
I'd say a long time, as long as you got a dog. This is me and my lady's dog. She's taking a nice dump right here. But that's a big one. Animals. Just have a dog. Like he said, people are evil. You know, you're toxic. But that's a big one. As long as they're selling dogs out here, you know, I think it's going to hold up for quite some time. But here's another one right here. This is kind of like the getting comfortable being alone thing.
But he goes, being alone can be scary, and not in a bad way. It's scary that you can have that ability to be alone, because then you don't ever want to come back out of that.
Yeah, that's probably why I've been single. Like,
yeah.
Right? Like, I don't need anyone to cook, clean, nothing. Like, I'm good, dude.
Self-sufficient.
Yeah,
it's like sex. I don't need that, dude.
Yeah.
Yep. But I think that I don't know, that maybe makes me too picky then, or maybe I've shunned away like potential opportunities with women that otherwise would have been good for me or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you're making
Yeah.
I love.
Meanwhile, I was like covered in head tattoos. It's like maybe that's like kind of. No, I don't really care about the head tattoos. I'm just saying, like, if I was covered in head tattoos, maybe it would increase my chances with women. I don't know. Anyways, but that was from a guy's perspective. But here's like how I think a lot of women feel. And a lot of dudes have just probably given up. But
I love being single and I love being on my own, but I will tell you, going home to an empty house, no kids, no significant other, and having to be alone in your thoughts for the evening is not fun.
You guys leave your thoughts, but this is back to the social media thing right here. When your man doesn't have any dude friends to do activities with, so he's watching these fools right here. This is kind of... I get it, though. He's just watching these guys hanging out on a YouTube video, and like what you're doing right now. Maybe, you know, you're probably alone. I mean, I do get messages on Instagram where it's like, me and my wife watch you all the time. Or it's like couples watch me. So that's cool. On a family channel. But for the most part, you're probably alone right now. just hanging out, doing God knows what. I don't know what you're up to. But you feel like you're kind of hanging out with someone. What's up, dude? Take a hit of it. I'm just kidding, metaphorically speaking. Anyways, you guys leave your thoughts. I don't know what the answer is, okay? I just try and make an effort to see my friends. Making new friends is not easy. Good luck with the women stuff. For guys, at least. You could always go gay. People are doing that. It's popular, very progressive. I don't know why I just said that. But anyways, hell of a talk. Check out my second channel, or don't. Shout out to everybody who bought a shirt. Really do appreciate that. It has been increasing men's sex. That's what I read in the reviews. Just making that up completely out of my ass. Anyways, yeah, give Ishmael a call. You need health insurance or just somebody to talk to. Solid talk.
Hit! Cargo's too important. Activating.
All right, that's Jack Morgan.
Is Morningstar
This is Josh Scantown. I subscribed to him. I don't remember what it was.
misleading?
Morningstar.
Well, they say basically the ineptness of investors. All right, so we're going to dive into this because it's a pet peeve of mine. All right, we'll dive right into this with my man Jeffrey Pataki. It's Patak. Jeffrey Patak. And he and Christine Benz are on the Morningstar YouTube channel. I like Morningstar. Big fan. All right, bad timing cost investors 1/5 of their funds' returns. What? Because I'm just an inept investor? I'm losing 20% of my total return, Jeff Pataki? No way. How could that be? Let's take a gander, shall we? Our study, we found the average dollar invested in funds earned about 6% a year over the 10 years ending December 31st, 2022. All right, so you have an average dollar. Right, the average dollar invested in funds and exchange-traded funds and mutual funds and ETFs. Right? And then we're going to compare that average dollar invested compared to the fund's total return. So your average dollar invested, you inept investor, only took 6% a year in returns, yet the fund that you invest in returned 1.7% above that. Factor to 7.7% year-over-year return. Essentially, there's a gap of 1.7% is what Morningstar is saying. They're saying the average fund returns 7.7. The average dollar invested in the fund only returns 6. So we take 1.7 divided by 6, and that's actually 28% rate of return less, or they say they're doing 1.7 divided by 7%. That's the same. That's going to be 20%. But basically, a quarter of your return is left on the table. Why? Because you're inept and you time the market badly. We'll show you what I'm talking about. While it would be preferable to see U.S. stock fund investors capture even more of their average fund returns, it appears that mistimed purchases and sales were less costly as a share of returns than other classes. So basically, again, we're talking timing. They talk a lot about timing. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Investors struggle to a greater degree in timing their investments. It's always about time. Let's keep going here because I want to show you down here. While investors have made strides in many ways, our research finds that there's still room for improvement when it comes to timing their investments. All right, so basically what Morningstar is saying is you're buying high and you're selling low, and we don't want to do that. So you need to stop doing that, investor, and just start buying low and selling high. And the point is they're wrong. I'm just going to share with you how they're wrong. I mean, they're saying basically because you're buying after the market has gone up and you're selling when the market has gone down. And you shouldn't do that. But this is not what they think. And I'm going to show you. So let's dive into my man Michael Kitces here, because this is an article that dates many moons ago, 2012. Kitces.com. Kitces is Kitces, Kitces.com. And Kitces this is one of the best articles ever written. Stuff, right? So right here, he says, the so-called behavior gap has been quantified most famously over the years using the Dalbar study. I used to use this too when I was a broker and doing seminars. I'd go to the graveyard. If you line up some skeletons at night at midnight, if they could fog a mirror, dude, I'd be freaking doing a seminar in front of them. I went everywhere to do seminars. If you could fog a mirror, I'd do you a seminar. And I'd always use this Dalbar study to basically insinuate that you need me because you managing your own investments, you're leaving a lot of returns on the table. And I remember I read this study in 2022. Michael Kitces' thing in 2012. I said,
A52 has
something didn't make sense to me. Even looking at the study of how investors don't receive the whole rate of return of the markets, I said, why? It didn't make sense, but it's good marketing. All right. Let's see here. So let me go down here, right here. Numerous articles in the newspaper and on the web typically show retail investors as a whole are dumb and imply that they took money out of the stock market near the bottom and are now putting it back in just as the market makes new highs. In fact, he talks about right here. I've seen this interpretation in many books, including books by Burt McKeel, Random Walk Down Wall Street, Larry Swedroe, I think he's with Rockingham or something like that, I can't remember. But anyway, and then Rick Ferry, who I think runs the Boltez blog. While the intention is good to warn investors against buying high and selling low, the interpretation is wrong. Because comparing investor returns against index returns is comparing apples to oranges. And we're going to take a look at a couple of examples here. Okay. Suppose the stock market doubled in year one and then stayed flat for 9 years. Over the 10-year period, the market return is still 7.2%. All right, so let's say we start with $10,000. In year two, and at the end of year one, it goes to $20,000. And then at the end of year 10, it's still at $20,000. Now, again, we started with 10, we ended with 20. What's our rate of return? 7.2%. We doubled our money. Even though there was no rate of return from years 2 to 10, the only rate of return we had was in year 1. That makes sense? We start with 10, we end with 20, our rate of return is 7.2%. That's just a fact, Jack. All right? That's a fact. That's what the index gave us, 7.2% a year. All right. Now, over the 10-year period, the stock market is 7.2%. However, if an investor invested $1,000 every year in an index fund that exactly matched the market, the investor would have $11,000 at the end of 10 years. Only the first $1,000 doubled, right? So the investor said, I'm going to invest $1,000 every year. So he starts, and his first $1,000 doubles to $2,000. Then every $1,000 thereafter stays at $1,000. It doesn't grow. So he has $11,000 in the portfolio at the end of year 10, right? His rate of return, I think Kitces says like 1.7 or something like that, 1.7. All right, so he only has a 1.7% rate of return. The index has a 7.2% rate of return. So it looks like he's an idiot. Looks like he left, almost 6% a year on the table. But did he? Did he leave 6% a year on the table? No, because he only invested $1,000 each year. He didn't invest the full thing up front. You see what I'm saying? As such, he looks like he's a poor investor, yet he only had $1,000 to put in the market. So what is he supposed to do? But yet, Dalbar and Morningstar and Vanguard, they have all these studies that say, oh, you idiot, the market returned 7.2, you only got 1.7. Let's keep going. The big difference between the 7.2% return on the market and the investor's 1.7 isn't caused by any performance chasing or bad market timing. The investor is just faithfully investing in an index fund for the long term. When the market did well in year one, the investor simply didn't have much money to catch a good return. Now we're going to do the exact opposite. Now suppose the stock market stayed flat for 9 years and then doubled in year 10. All right, so again, we have $10,000. After year 9, it's still $10,000, and at the end of year 10, it's now worth $20,000. The market still has a 7.2% annualized rate of return, 7.2. All right, now check this out, though. If an investor invested $1,000 each year in that index fund, exactly matched the market, now the investor has $20,000, resulting in a rate of return of 12.3%. It's higher than the market return because in the year when the market was high, the investor had $10,000 versus only $1,000 in the previous return. So the investor said he's doing $1,000 a year, each and every year. He still ends up with, because 1,000 doesn't grow, and at the end of the year, the last year, it doubled. So that first 1,000, the second 1,000, the third 1,000 ultimately ended up doubling at the end of the year. So he has a 12.3% rate of return versus the index only 7.2%. So it's not timing of the market that matters. It's the when the returns are captured is what matters. So the earlier in the time frame, the less the investor who's put money in is going to capture because he has less money in the market. The later the returns happen, the more the investor is going to capture because he has more money in the market. And this is why it's misleading. It has nothing to do with you being a dumb and market chasing. It has to do with the fact of when the market returns happen. And because we know, most likely, that the returns are always on this trajectory going to the northeast, you're almost always going to have investor returns that are less than the fund itself, because for people put money in, you're putting money in 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, but the market is always on this trajectory. But you didn't have enough money in the market to capture those returns in the front end of the time frame. It's stupid to even insinuate that people are bad investors. Because now you could look at sector returns and say, well, if you look at the sector average, yeah, people are probably there because I got a gut feeling about energy or freaking cobalt or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Bitcoin. But when you factor in just a good old-fashioned dollar cost averaging, I put 1,000 in, 1,000 in, 1,000 in, 1,000 in, and for the first 9 years, I had no return. So I had I put $9,000 in. At the end of the year 9 is worth $9,000. My next $1,000 I put in, the entirety of my portfolio doubled, which means I did not just get a 7.2% rate of return as my fund did. I got a, whatever you said, 12.73% rate of return. So I smoked the fund itself because I got my gains in the latter part of the time frame. See, so now of course we're going to have lower investor returns because the last 10 years have been so remarkable. What Portfolio Visualizer show? Let's look at Portfolio Visualizer. We're going to put $1,000 in. We're not going to contribute anything fixed. So I just want to see what it looked like, the rate of return from 2000 to the end of 2010. So we got $1,000 in there. Our compounded annual growth rate was 0.32%. All right, we started with $1,000. We ended up with $1,036 at the end of 2010, beginning of 2011. All right, compounded annual growth rate again was 0.32. That's the index return. It made 0.32% a year. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to contribute $1,000 a year into this fund. All right. We're going to contribute each and every year. Let's not even adjust it for inflation. We'll say boink. Let's just hit analyze. Let's see what it looks like here. A bit. So now we're going to look at this. Oh, MWRR is 3%. So we had $1,000 in there. Now it's worth $14,195. Our compounded annual growth rate, which is that's kind of silly because that just says your initial balance and final balance. So your compounded annual growth rate doesn't mean anything here because because it doesn't take into fact. We can't use a compounded annual growth rate when we're putting in $10,000 more dollars than $1,000. That's not. We don't want to use that. We do want to use it in the last episode of what we just showed you because that said we start with 1,000, we end up with 1,036. We add nothing to it. Thus, our compounded annual growth rate is our index return. But this is what we're looking for: MWRR. So let's see what MWRR says. WRR. We're going to come down here, and we're going to say, the money-weighted rate of return is an internal rate of return taking into consideration cash flows. This is the discount rate at which the present value cash flows equals the present value cash outflows. Basically, they're saying, so we're adding $1,000 each and every year, and because we have Started with $1,000. Our payment is $1,000. All right, over I guess what's that? 11 years from 2000 2010. Yeah, it's 11 years of making payments, and we have $14,000 in there. So we did make some money on our returns. We did. We didn't make much, but our total return, money weighted rate of return is 3%. Yeah, I've already showed you the compounded annual growth rate of the index itself was 0.32. So we smoked the index. We smoked the index because we just happened to get the rates of return on the end of the 10-year time frame. If we would have got the significant proportion of the rates of return on the beginning of the 10-year time frame, we would have got smoked by the index, just like Kitsis did.
I think I'm going the long way.
I hope this makes sense. Anyway, there is some legitimacy to market timing. I'm not denying that. In fact, again, they use the sector ETFs and mutual funds that show there's a significant discrepancy between a portfolio, its actual rate of return, and versus the actual dollar invested.
Thank you, brother. You keep going on that. You know, keep going on that.
Walmart has recently decided that they want to do away with DEI, and they also want to talk about tariffs because that is something that is galvanizing the entire country. Make sure you guys hit a like to the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock.
Walmart is a great American company and the nation's largest retailer. More than 1.6 million American employees alone, and annual global revenue of nearly $150 billion. So I'm happy to say we're joined now for an exclusive interview with John Furner, the president and CEO of Walmart U.S. John, thank you very much for joining us. I want to get into holiday shopping. I want to get into grocery prices, but I got to ask you off the top to talk about this report I'm reading in today's Wall Street Journal about how Walmart is pulling back on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs under pressure from a conservative activist. So a few of the changes here: phasing out the term DEI, winding down the Center for Racial Equity, no longer giving priority treatment to suppliers based on race or gender diversity, and preventing sellers from listing some transgender-related or themed items on the website. So is that accurate from what you're hearing, and why the changes?
Well, first of all, good morning, and thanks for having me. It's great to be here. I'm in Houston, Texas, in our Friendswood location, so it's exciting to be in the store this time of year. First, let me say, like many companies all across the United States, we've been on a journey, and we continue to be on a journey. And what we're trying to do is to ensure that every customer, every associate feels welcome here to shop and to feel like they belong. And that term belong, we've been talking about belonging now for almost 2 years. Early 2023, we started talking about belonging. And we're going to continue to make the best decisions we can that makes everyone, our customers, our associates, feel like this is an environment they can shop in and thrive in.
Is diversity among your suppliers still important to you at Walmart, John?
Well, starting with our company back in 1962, we were a small business, a single store that operated out of Rogers, Arkansas. And so we'll continue to do the things that we can do to ensure that small suppliers have a path to being successful, not only at Walmart, but in their business in total. You know, every year we really focus on made in the USA. About 2/3 of what we sell is either made, grown, or assembled right here in the United States. We have a program every summer called Open Call, where we welcome in small suppliers and we welcome in people that have an idea, that are an entrepreneur, and they want to learn. So we're going to continue to lean into ensuring that we provide the very best pathways for small businesses, our suppliers, to be successful here in the store. If I had more time, I could take you around the store and show you a few of those examples, but there are a lot of them, and there'll continue to be more.
Hey, why dog he ain't answer the question though? You know, I hate corporate speak. I think that people are getting to a point in their lives and in society where they just want people to just tell me like it is, bro. So y'all getting rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and y'all gonna make sure that y'all open up the aisles to just great small businesses, and you're not gonna discriminate, because that's all diversity, equity, and inclusion is. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is an opportunity for people to discriminate based off of race and say, I'm going to give you preferential treatment. So it's the reverse of what people have been advocating for as far as what equal is. Equal isn't diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's not what equal is. Equal, especially in a capitalistic market, is that you put out the best business plan, you have the best products, you're the best supplier, and so you're the one that gets the benefit in this partnership with another person that has a distribution network that can help you. You make money, we sell more products, you benefit financially, we benefit financially. That's the goal. My goal is not to give you a leg up just because you black or you white or you Asian or you Hispanic or you Latino. No, my goal is to give you an opportunity if you have a great product to sell that the people would want. And so I hate corporate ease. Corporate ease speak. It's so stupid. It's all of this, yes, and what is going to happen. And we don't want to hear none of that no more. All we want to know is, are you a part of the diversity, equity, and inclusion? And your company is saying no, but you want to give corporate ease and just try to ease them into the conversation. No, I don't like that. I just keep it real. Nah, you know what? Nah, we decided to do away with and go with what the people are saying. We no longer want to embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion because it could be discriminatory, and we understand that parity exists. And so in a capitalistic market, our goal is to give the best product to the people and give the best product to our customers instead of focusing on race. That's what I'd have said. It is what the sales would have been booming. So sales would be booming. Oh, man, you know what? They truly are trying not to be discriminatory.
All right, John, you mentioned that 2/3 of what you have is made in the U.S. Let's talk about that other third. President-elect Trump announced last night that on his first day in office, he will impose a 25% tariff on all products imported from Canada and Mexico. So how will that impact Walmart? What have you all done to actually prepare for that? Have you guys been stockpiling in anticipation of these tariffs?
Well, first, I'll just say again, about 2/3 of what we sell is made, grown, or assembled here in the United States. And we've been very supportive, all the way back to our founder of products that are made in the United States. Just a couple of days ago, someone sent me a photo of Mr. Walton, actually my father, who worked at the company with the president of Lodge, one of our brands that's here in the store, in camping cookware. So we'll be ready to adjust. We'll adjust to any environment. We've been in an environment with tariffs now for the last 7 years. And we have a team of people that are really experienced in managing changes in the environment. Now, our purpose is to try to keep prices low, to help people save money and enable them to live better. Now, certainly there'll be some occasions where you may see some impact on price, but we'll do everything we can between our suppliers, our supply chain, and do everything we can to help ensure that we're as efficient as possible to keep prices as low as we can. And that's exactly what we do each and every day, including right now in the holidays.
Are you worried about the tariffs, though?
Well, we want to do everything we can, as I mentioned, to keep prices.
This guy knows how to slip a jab. He is Floyd Mayweather with his words. I don't even want to hear from him no more. I just want to get the other side of it. So let me get this side of it. Kevin O'Leary had a conversation about what scaling back DEI initiatives is going to do to the consumer or to the company of Walmart. Let's take a look.
Waving goodbye to DEI, Walmart plans to roll back its diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives following backlash. The company saying in a statement to Fox Business, "We know we aren't perfect, but every decision comes from a place of wanting to foster a sense of belonging, to open doors to opportunities for all our associates, customers, and suppliers, and to be a Walmart for everyone." Well, for more, let's bring in Kevin O'Leary, O'Leary Ventures chairman and Shark Tank investor. Okay, that's Walmart's statement. They're rolling back DEI. I guess my question is, when America's biggest employer does this mean that we are done with DEI and moving? I'm going to give you my acronym. Results, excellence, and merit. REM. I'm a fan of the band. I'm a fan of the idea. What do you think about that?
Corporate America got lost, and then it took a huge lesson down from Anheuser-Busch on Bud Light.
Yep.
We teach that in business schools now. A complete combination of idiot management and the inability to read the room.
Yep.
And America's clearly decided on this issue. And for the boardroom not to be sensitive and understand what's going on out there, they get punished at the store level. Target's a great example. Wow, when they got into that whole gender identity stuff, they got slaughtered. And they still haven't come back. What mother wants to take their kids there and get into gender identity on underwear?
They never really said sorry.
It doesn't matter.
Is that saying that Walmart stock is up 74% this year? Yeah, that's about accurate because that's what we went over in Stock Club. We actually went over the margins of how Walmart makes money, so on and so forth. Make sure y'all jump into the Patreon. Link is in the description.
Market did it for them.
Sure.
It crushed them. And I think they should get the whacking stick out. If I were on that board, I'd find out who put that policy in place, and a whacking and a hacking. You got to start punishing stupidity at the management level. That is how you solve for this.
I agree.
That's how we used to do it 20, 30 years ago.
So Walmart's getting out ahead of that and saying, we don't want that. Thank you very much. We're going to do the statement. We're going to get out of this, and we want to avoid the punishment, basically.
Yeah, but I mean, the customer is always right, always decides, and you have to read the customer. The mother, the father that brings their kids into that store to buy toys and is faced with all this, what crapola? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And they pay a horrible price for it, and I think it's great. And that Anheuser-Busch case, that's such a great case to teach managers in business.
No, I think that somebody said it in chat, inside of the chat. Chuck and also Nathan said Jaguar also. Jaguar is one of the best case studies to teach people how to absolutely kill a brand and absolutely destroy what you have going on. And I think that Walmart is smart. They're not going to say it out loud. They're going to put corporate ease into it. But the reality is that diversity, equity, and inclusion has always been a bad thing. It should have never been mandated on a college level. It should never be mandated inside of the corporate level. And I would never, under any circumstance. Okay, so then that means that I have to start firing some women and making sure that I hire some other women in order to make sure that we have a diverse work group. Because diversity, equity, and inclusion only is played out on companies that employ the majority of white people, right? I wonder if we should start implementing diversity, equity, and inclusion on businesses that say we black owned, or we only sell to black people, or we only have a majority of black employees. We should start finding them and say, hey, listen, unless you get a white girl in here, or you get an Asian woman in here, or you get a Hispanic in here, then we gonna charge you tariffs. Tariffs is the name. I'm about to change the name of this show to Tariffs. Because I'm trying to figure out, should diversity, equity, and inclusion also include people in places that only employ black people? Should black people, if diversity, equity, and inclusion only employ black people, if they're shouldn't diversity exist in that space too? Or am I off? Because I'm a C student. And because I'm a C student, it's very difficult for me to be able to grasp these concepts. So often at times, I do the reverse. And when I do the reverse, it don't make sense, because I can go into a place and I'll see all black people, and I'll be like, where the diversity up in this mug? Where is the diversity? So what you saying? You saying white people don't know how to make potato salad? Toy said it only applies to large white companies. Okay. All right, I got you. The Millionaire Tariff Show, that's what we changing this name into. We going to tariffs? No, I'm not saying the name of the channel. I'm talking about the name of this particular episode. Tariffs. I want tariffs on everybody. We putting a tariff on people that don't meet diversity requirements on the flip side. How about that? I don't like it. I don't like discrimination. I don't like people hiring people based off of what they look like as far as things that they can't control. I don't like it.
Business schools, because they are a lot of them are thinking, oh, gee, it's the right thing to do. You look at the numbers. No beer company in history has been slaughtered that hard. Right from the beer cans being shot off.
We call it a teachable moment. But while you're here, I want to bring up the magic word of the day, the $1,000 word, tariffs.
Okay, so tariffs, another good word for it is negotiations. Everybody knows this is chapter 3 in Trump's book. I mean, everybody is freaking out on this thing. I keep saying...
Have y'all not read Trump's book? Nah, don't worry about it.
Go read his book. I mean, this stuff, he's getting out there now. Everybody's awake. He woke him up at 2 in the morning with one post. Every world leader's going, what? So there'll be no tariffs on Canada. That's very hard to implement. But the challenge with the Canadian situation is different than the Mexican. Trudeau is a really unpopular leader, and in the parliamentary system, he'll be getting whacked soon. It's the end game in the parliamentary system is so brutal. Look what happened in England just recently. It's about to happen to him. So that Trump will not be negotiating with Trudeau. He'll be dealing with a guy named Pierre Poilievre who will get majority mandate. I think Trump should invite him down to Mar-a-Lago now. I don't know what the protocol and all that is, but he'll be dealing with Pierre. He might as well.
He was much more ideologically aligned with Trump.
Well, here's what Poilievre has already said. I'm going to lift the ban on pipelines. I'm going to kill the carbon tax to be competitive with Texas. And I'm going to open all kinds of investment in Canada. That's Trump's kind of guy. So I know he talked to Trudeau last night, but Trudeau is checking out of Dodge.
Yeah.
Very soon.
Okay.
I want to talk about other investments. Medicaid.
All right, so that's what we all got into.
Shit. Trying to get to a certain place, and I can't find a way up. I'm trying to get here to continue this, but I can't find a way up. I mean, unless there's a crane there, shit. I hate when you get lost. The whole point of the markers is that you don't get lost. I mean, really. Damn it. Let me go the long road here, and maybe I can find another way up around here. Here's a way up. Okay. Oh no, that's not, well. I don't know if that's the way up I want to go. Trying to get here. I don't know. Very confusing map. Trying to get here, I'm not sure. I think I know where that is, but I'm not sure. Okay. Alright, I was just here. And then there's got to be a road leads this way. Oh, this is the road. Alright, this is the road. Okay, so this is where I'm supposed to go. I must have passed it. Shit. Well, I'm in the right direction now. Okay, so I got to get up there somehow. So I know I'm in the general direction. Let me see if there's anything over here. Anything over here?
Please use all products only as intended. Be well.
Okay, yeah, okay, so here I am. Okay, let's go over here to the right. Oh, we're at an hour and 23 minutes. Let me go ahead and stop the vid. Sorry guys, forgot. Here we go.